religious constitutions. They implement counseling before two people get married. But why can't the father call his daughter to tell her this and this and that and that and that?
There are
So what if
certain, it's
the-
like a father teaching
but
a daughter
Edox-
about sexual activities. Doesn't make sense.
Edox, so what if the mother is not present in the child's life?
All right, welcome y'all. It's KCTV once more, and today we are at Cooktastic at the Palms Woodstock. Today we're talking teenage pregnancy, and I've got Cakeface in the studio with me, and I'm JFK. Cakeface, say hi to the audience.
Hi everyone, Cakeface. So this is our second broadcasting here live from Cooktastic, and I'm super excited about this topic. So yeah, and I have a lot of things to say about this topic.
All right, yeah, daughters on how to function with a man.
But if you, most of the religious constitutions, they implement counseling before two people get married. Don't you?
Don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting the importance of counseling. All I'm saying is these mothers in general, they have a responsibility.
I
Just the same
understand
way
what you're
a
saying,
father,
yes.
a functional father would call his son.
But why can't the father call his daughter to tell her this and this and that and that and that?
There are certain lectures, or there are certain conversations that needs to be had by a woman to a woman.
So what if the?
It's like a father teaching a daughter about sexual activities. Doesn't make sense.
So what if the mother is not present in the child's life, in that teenager's life? And then what?
That is why some fathers, right, they seek the help of maybe the grandmother, right? The help of the grandmother, a sister, an aunt. When that girl is coming of age, maybe the teenage, years are beginning to set in. Now she starts spending time with the aunt, the grandmother, and even in some families, the grandmothers raised these daughters, right? They raise them. Some would ship their daughters to their aunts if there is no functional mother in the house. They would take their daughters to their aunts,
Yes.
or to their grandmothers, or to their sisters, right?
Yeah.
Where they can at least experience that, have that information that is needed for them to properly function when eventually they start having relationships.
Yeah.
So I feel the fact that we are not emphasizing the importance of a functional father, a functional mother, and the togetherness of a man and a woman in the traditional sense, I feel that is the reason why there's a lot of decay, and there's a lot of this spillover of teenage pregnancies, no proper role models in these, because at the end of the day, if for instance you're a woman and you see how well your father, your mom, or your mother function in the family settings, you know what are the responsibilities or the things that are expected of you as a young woman to do, and the pitfalls that you shouldn't fall into, right? But if you grow up under the settings where nobody modeled anything to you, you're not modeled a functional family, you're not modeled the togetherness of a man and a woman, you're not modeled, morals.
It's sad, actually, if you must think about it. So
it's sad. So it boils down to, again, functional parental settings, right? Which is a traditional male and female raising kids
Yeah.
settings. And then secondly, I feel like from there we can now hone into the situation of morals, which is teaching a young woman how to discipline herself and to not, to have self-control, right? I understand that the sexual desires will creep up, from time to time. But if you instill morals and discipline into her, she understands that whenever I get with a man, it doesn't matter how much he tries to sweet tongue me, I have a responsibility to keep it together and not budge at his request. Right? So I feel like there is a deterioration in the male and female traditional family tree that needs to be looked into for the situation of teenage pregnancy to be curbed to a certain degree. That needs to happen because otherwise, what are we talking about? Are we going to talk about teenage pregnancy today? People have been talking about this thing for years already, but it doesn't seem like it's working. Talking is not going to cut it.
But the other issue is for me that since I've left my children's father and I've been staying without him, I need to also show my daughter that I can't bring any man to the house and then just every man just coming there to my house and saying, no, this is my boyfriend, every time the same thing, no, this is my boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. Every time seeing a different male coming there. You understand what I'm saying? The mother needs to tell her daughter, no, I don't have somebody, not in the sense of hiding it, but in the sense of until things are serious and at the point of the two of you maybe staying together or deciding to get married or in that prospect, don't bring a male in the mix and trying to confuse your child.
But tell me, do you have conversations about how or the responsibility or what is expected of a woman with your daughter instead of a woman to a man to your daughter? Do you sometimes teach her the importance of knowing how to coordinate herself and operate in a healthy and a functional relationship with a man? Do you teach her these things? I'm talking about between you and your daughter.
I do, and there's times when she gets very shy, and then she will say, Mommy, I don't think I want to speak anymore about those things. But I tell her, you need to know these things. You can't go out there and then you look like an idiot. You need to know all these things. You need to know what a man like and what a man don't like. Not in a rush situation, maybe just a fling situation. No, you need to know what your husband like and what he don't like. I told her that. You need to know if he likes his socks to be washed like this. Some men don't like stay soft. You need to know that. Some men like their clothing to be washed in cold water. Some men like the food needs to be warmed this way and that way. You need to know all these things. And I tell her that. I tell her all these things.
So, like, if you want to talk about, like, do you tell her particularly that she needs to be prepared to be a wife, or do you just tell her, oh, these are your responsibilities. You need to wash a man's clothes, or you need to clean up. How do you start, these conversations with her?
I speak to her about everything. I speak to her about sex.
How do you begin the conversation? Do you tell her? Because I want to understand how the dialogue usually
come about.
Right? How do you guys because a lot of times, because we do not, I realize that a lot of women shy away from I want to prepare my daughter to be a wife type of conversation, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about being a wife that does not sit well with modern women. right? Being a wife back in the day used to be something that every woman aspired to. They want to be a wife. They're hoping they already, even from a young age, they're already thinking about the wedding gowns and the occasion,
Yeah.
and they're already thinking about the name of their their potential spouse and all of that stuff. But right now, it feels like it's more of a sad conversation. Nobody wants to talk about being a wife no more. Like it's jaded. Like,
Yeah.
but what is it about? But at the end of the day, they still end up talking about marriage. So it feels like the preparation to marriage is not essential, but marriage itself is essential. It's like trying to operate a TV without manual, right? How can you properly operate a TV that you just bought without actually going through the manual and to know how to properly function or how to properly operate?
Yeah, it's